Today, we'll be discussing the differences between the K-pop industry and the Western pop industry, and of course, how that affects you as someone who is trying to audition and become a K-pop idol. Now, we already know that K-pop has become so global that it's almost like a household name in the Western industry. And as a result, there's so many auditions happening in America. And one example of this would be Kpop Center, an America-based training complex that provides access to top-tier facilities and industry professionals that have extensive experience in the K-pop industry. This month, they have companies like Weehua, JYP, The Black Label, and HYUP hosting their global auditions on these following dates. But don't worry if you can't make it in person, because Kpop Center also hosts online programs that you can join regardless of where you're from. And one example of this would be App Online Audition Prep Program. It's an 8-week online artist training program where you receive extremely valuable opportunities such as 8 private lessons and access to private label auditions. They also have Kpop Audition Basics, which is more of an introductory program to App Online, and it provides audition labels, tips, and tricks for major label auditions. And with this program, you'll also be able to receive written feedback from industry professionals. So both programs are so accessible and definitely something that all aspiring K-pop idols should take advantage of. So more information can be found on their website that I'll be linking down below, as well as their Instagram. So let's just start with number 1, which is actually a difference between the two industries. So that is finding the balance between being unique and being standard. So in K-pop auditions, of course, you have to be unique and stand out to the judges. However, the way you do that is probably different from the way you want to stand out in the Western entertainment industry. So how should you establish yourself when you're trying to audition for the K-pop industry? Well, you need to develop yourself through techniques and also your talents. Those two things are what judges look for, really, your potential at the end of the day. Now, with that being said, don't have your personal brand developed from the get-go. Now, we all know this example because I repeat it quite often, but let's say SM Entertainment. They look for a blank canvas, and what that means is they don't want your brand and your style already developed. They just want to see your potential and see what they can work with from there. Now, why is this the case, you might ask? Well, that is because companies want you to align with the rest of the members, with the group that they have in mind for debut. So if you are so far off from the other trainees, then you're probably not going to make it into the group simply because you don't fit in. And in the K-pop industry, you do need to fit in to a certain degree. So really, don't make it difficult for the judges to choose you. And kind of related to this is also being open to change. We know that there are different styles and concepts that K-pop idols have to follow, and if the company tells you, okay, right now we're going for more of a, I don't know, cute style, then you have to be willing to adapt to that, even if it's not necessarily 100% what aligns with your personal values. So in your audition, if you can, show versatility. Now, this is difficult for the first stage simply because you're only given typically one video with one category. However, as you progress on to the next steps of the auditions, like the second round or the third round, then that is definitely where you want to show that you can do multiple styles and multiple concepts. Now, in the Western entertainment industry, stars or artists are typically known for only doing one style and kind of sticking with it throughout their career. They have a developed brand from the get-go, and of course, these styles can change as individuals change. However, it's not going to dramatically change every couple months like K-pop idols would, simply because they're in charge of what they can do themselves, whereas K-pop idols are kind of controlled by the company in terms of what they can do, in terms of creativity, that is. Now, I have some tips for your K-pop audition to control this, I guess. I wrote it down here, so if you have any piercings, tattoos, definitely do not show them. I get a lot of questions about this, so if I have piercings, should I wear them for my audition? So typically no. If they're just earrings, that's fine, but if it's more than that, I do not recommend you wear them for your audition, or just don't make them visible. And also tattoos, cover them if you can. Now, that's kind of going to be a problem if you are a trainee later on. You might have to get them removed. It really depends on the company and what they're going for. The next tip is about clothing. I do kind of have a video on how you should dress for your K-pop audition. It's right here. However, kind of in regards to that, you should have a neutral clothing style. You never really see past K-pop idol auditions and see them wear something extravagant. They're typically just, their school uniforms or something very neutral in terms of color and also the style of the clothing. So don't go too overboard with what you wear. You just want to keep it natural and simple. So if you want to stand out, clothing is probably not the best way for you to do that. But again, really depends on the company that you're auditioning for. Alright, so number 2 is actually a similarity between the two industries. So that is scouting, also known as casting. So you guys already know that K-pop idols are scouted or casted through managers that will literally just go out on the streets and see who's pretty around or good looking. I think we all know the stories of idols being really scared at first or intimidated by these casting managers, thinking they're a scam, but really they work for like SM Entertainment. It's kind of funny, but did you guys also know that they also cast people online? Yeah, they also cast people through Instagram and also other social media platforms like YouTube and TikTok. However, more so focused on Instagram. So if they see a post of someone that they like, they'll literally reach out to them through DM and be like, hey, we're this entertainment, we're interested in doing an audition with you, would you be interested? So similar to that, many Western artists also signed their first record labels through being casted online. So a lot of idols in the Western entertainment industry first started out by a casting manager seeing a viral video on YouTube, that being like a singing cover video, go viral, and then they find them and then they sign the record label. So kind of similar to the K-pop industry, finding people online or even in person is a common thing. So what does this mean for you? Should you upload your covers onto YouTube and try to make them go viral? Well, not necessarily. I wouldn't make that your priority. I would make your priority just creating the best video you can and submitting that to Kpop auditions or going in person or doing Zoom auditions. All of the opportunities you can get, take those to your advantage. There is a certain risk of posting yourself online simply because digital footprint, so take that to your discretion, and if you'd like to, go ahead. But I personally recommend avoiding that and just purely focusing on auditions, because these days it's more so important to develop like a clean slate for yourself without having too much digital footprint. And I know that's ironic coming from someone that's been posting on YouTube for 4 years now, but I'm not going to become a K-pop idol. You guys know this already. Okay, moving on to the next point, which is a difference between the two industries, and that is commitment. Now, you might be thinking, well, what the heck do you mean by commitment? Every artist works so hard to achieve their goals. However, I would just like to say there's like a difference in becoming an artist and the views upon it. So in the Western industry, a lot of people actually start becoming an idol or becoming an artist simply for fun, like as a side hustle, because they want to create music. It's something that they're passionate about. Maybe they play an instrument and want to, actually create a song out of it. So they do it for fun. However, in the K-pop industry, that is not necessarily the case. Let's say you audition, you pass all of the rounds, and bam, you're a trainee. Well, that is a lot of commitment that is following with that decision. And you're in it for years, you have a contract, it's a lot more serious than the Western industry. Now, of course, this is different because a contract and a record label are, a little bit similar in the fact that you're signed in with a company. However, I'm more so talking about beginning to become an artist in these different industries. So once you're a trainee, you're really into it. And of course, you can leave the company whenever you'd like. However, that really depends on the contract. Some companies say you have to be a trainee for this amount of years and then you have the freedom to leave. And this amount of years can literally be a year to 5 years. So you really don't know what you're going in for until you actually sign that contract. And it is very difficult to negotiate this contract with companies because they have it set in stone pretty much for all of the other trainees to follow as well. You guys already know this, but there's an extreme amount of time, effort, and energy placed into becoming a trainee, and also spending that time trying to become an idol and making it into the debut lineup. So a lot of people find that it's kind of a waste to give up all of their dreams after what they've been through. That's kind of the case. So now for you guys, I have a question that you need to consider before you audition and before you become a trainee. So this question is, can you see yourself pursuing this exact dream in the next 10 years? If this answer is so certain for you and you're like, yes, I can definitely see myself doing this for the next 10 years, then go for it. You have what it takes. However, if you're just a little bit certain, then I always recommend having a backup plan just in case you don't see this happening for yourself anymore, or maybe you feel that it isn't the right career path for you. Always have a backup plan, even if you're sure of this answer. Now, we've already arrived at the very last point, kind of a short video for today. So it's going to be a similarity between the two industries. And that really is finding what works for you. Your song choice, your style, the techniques you use, the way you present yourself, all of that has to be in line with yourself and what works for you the best. So in the K-pop industry, if you want the judges to really recognize you for who you are and also make yourself stand out, you have to have all of these factors in line with you and really take advantage of these factors because they really, really are important. In the Western entertainment industry. That is where you really need to find the songs and the styles that work with you the best, because no one is deciding that for you. So really, it's even more difficult to establish yourself as an artist. I personally think so, simply because it isn't like a created path. You have to make your own path. So here are some tips from me regarding this topic. So firstly, choose a song choice that best reflects your strengths and, if possible, also hides your weakness. And this is for the both industries because, like I mentioned, it's a similarity between the two. So choose a song choice that you know you'll do well in, that really showcases your strengths. So I always use this example. So if you have a really wide vocal range, then choose a song that reflects that, that goes up really high but also goes down really low. And if your weakness is a small vocal range, then only choose a song that is within that vocal range, so you're not showcasing that you're straining when you're hitting those high notes or hitting those low notes. But the next tip is showcase your personal style. Now, I know before I said for the K-pop industry, you don't want to be too different and too out there. However, you also want to showcase yourself, like that factor that differentiates yourself from everyone else. So what makes you stand out? What is your personal style? So let's say in dance, popping, you're really good at that, then go for it. Showcase that in your dance video. Of course, it shouldn't be the entire video or be the focus, but it might be the highlight of your video. And that's a perfect transition into the next statement, which is utilize your vocal and dance techniques to the best of your ability. So what does this mean? If you are really good at high notes, then utilize that technique in your video, showcase it, make it be the highlight. Okay, and the very last tip is to present yourself in a very clean manner. So what does your clean manner mean? Talk with confidence and make sure you're not, I don't know, enunciating the wrong words when you're talking, or kind of looking down and having a really bad posture or something like that. Present yourself so that you seem like the best version you want to be. And this goes for the vocal category and the dance category as well. And I realized that I've been focusing more on the K-pop audition side of things in this video, but what can I say? My channel is all about K-pop auditions. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to check out Kpop Center. I'll leave all of their information in the description down below. Let me know what you guys would like to see for the next video. I'm already planning what to create before midterm season really hits. Okay, we can do this. We can all do this. Fighting. Okay, bye.